Hi everyone, in this capsule we're going to talk about return home, going home for the first time. So this is like an amazing time for parents. You're at the hospital and they say, okay, you're going home today. You have your car seat and they check everything out and you're driving home with your baby, and it's an amazing, exciting time. But also for most parents, it could be a little scary, a little intimidating. And for some reason, we get there, it's like, okay, what do we do now? So when we bring baby home, the first few days, we might feel like we have to make sure everything is fine. And it's very normal to have this stress for a while. As the days go by, you're going to feel that you can trust yourself and you can do this as parents. So there are a few recommendations or a few rules, and there are safety matters as well. So we'll go right into that. So the first 24 hours when you go home, of course, you have to make sure that you check on your baby at all times. The recommendations now is to keep your baby in the room with you for the first 6 months. I didn't say put the baby in your bed, but put the baby in the room with you. So you have a cradle, like your cot or something. So make sure that it's in the room with you for the first 6 months. Also, when you have your baby, this is important, something you've heard already, but I'm going to repeat it. Always put your baby on his back when it's bedtime. And that is not just at night, but also in the daytime. Always make sure you put your baby on his back when he sleeps, and that is for the prevention of SIDS, infant death syndrome. Since they start doing that, there's a huge decrease in number of newborns' death or babies' death. So make sure you respect that. On the other hand, when your baby is not sleeping, you need to put the baby on his stomach, and you always have to make sure there's someone keeping an eye on your baby. And the reason to put your baby on his stomach is if you don't change the position, there's many reasons, but one of them is the flat head syndrome. I don't know if you've met seen any babies with a flat head, especially on the back. So this is due to the fact that parents say, well, I keep the baby on his back at all times, will create a deformation. So to prevent that, and also putting your baby on his stomach is actually extremely important because it will straighten the muscles in his neck and his back. And that is the first step really for the babies to start crawling and moving around. So you absolutely need to put the baby on his stomach with surveillance. So that's it for the back and the infant death syndrome. Also, I want to insist on not smoking in the house. Secondhand smoking, really bad for your baby. Again, it might increase SIDS. So don't allow anyone to smoke, even if you say, well, the bedroom door is shut. No, people have to go outside to smoke. Keep the room at a temperature around 18 degrees. Don't overheat the baby. Sometimes we feel like the baby is small, he's always cold. Make sure you cover him, but do not overheat the bedroom. What do you keep in the baby's bed when he goes to bed? Actually, not much. Just a very small blanket. You can also put him in a sleeping sack. It's very popular these days. That's very good. If you have a blanket, make sure it's not a heavy one. No bumper pads, no stuffed animals, nothing that could be dangerous for your child. Also, the sheet on the mattress should be fitted. So don't just put a random sheet on there. So as far as the mattress goes, firm is better than soft. So please make sure that the baby always sleeps on a firm surface. Sometimes in the daytime we'll be tempted to say, oh, I'll just put the baby on the couch or something. That's not a really safe thing to do. Don't allow your baby also to sleep in a car seat or any other seats for that matter. Your baby should always be sleeping on a flat, firm surface. Now I'm going to talk about the pets. for those of you who have four-legged animals or other animals, it's really important to take time before you introduce your pets, or that you leave your pets alone with your baby. So it's recommended that you never ever leave your infant with your pets without surveillance. Always make sure that also in the bedroom, there are no pets in the bedroom. Keep them away. Some people put gates up, whatever you need to do, but do not allow your pets near your child without surveillance. And something else really important, no kissing, no licking. The pets have parasites. They can carry viruses as well, transmit diseases, have bacteria. And it's really not recommended that you allow your pets to do that to your baby. So at the beginning, you need to have some discipline when it comes to that. It might be a little difficult. And afterwards, of course, as your baby gets older, you can just make sure that their relationship is good. Now let's talk about input, output, and the feeding, which is for a lot of parents something that we really worry about. Is my baby eating enough? How do I know how much milk my breastfed baby is getting? Is he getting enough, gaining enough weight? So that is all questions that we have as the baby is little. So how much milk does the baby need? Well, if you're breastfeeding, we can't really measure how much milk the baby is getting. So the only way to see is to see the elimination. So how many diapers, how much weight did he gain? So the first week of life, a baby has a really small stomach, so he will gradually increase the amount of milk. The milk comes in between 3 and 5 days. So the first week, don't expect your baby to drink that much. And the baby's weight also, he may have lost some weight the first few days. So we say in as much as 10% of his birth weight is lost in the first 5 days of life. So you have to give it time for the baby to gain all that weight back. So how do we measure diapers? So a simple rule: first day, 1 pee, 2 days, 2 pees, 3 days, 3 pees. And that goes on until he's about 6 days old or a week. When the milk comes in, and the baby is about 6 days, the number of diapers should be around 6 a day. So that's a really good way to know if the baby drinks enough. And of course, the urine should be clear, shouldn't smell strong either. So if it's clear, that's a really good indication that he's getting enough. And the weight gain should be between 20 and 30 grams a day, which is really not very much. So don't expect, again, the baby to gain weight that fast. So just make sure it's 20-30 grams a day. If you bottle feed your baby, you give him formula, you really have to respect the amount of milk that you give. So the first day, it will be just an ounce, and then it goes on to about 4 ounces, 3-4 ounces after a week. So again, the number of diapers is the same. 1 day 1 pee, 2 days 2 pees. So it's very reassuring for parents to know that. So after you feed your baby, remember, burping really, really important, because if you don't burp your baby, he might be gassy. It might actually hurt his stomach a little bit. So make sure you burp him. And the time between feeding, that's something that parents also wonder. And it's not clockwise, like every 4 hours or every 3 hours. So you know what? It depends on your baby. If you're breastfeeding, your baby will drink more often as the breast milk gets digested much faster. If it's formula fed, sometimes the baby will sleep a little bit more, but it could be closer as far as more often in a day and maybe less at night. So, you know, every baby is unique. So, you know, a rule that parents have to remember to respect is the signs of hunger of your baby and when he's satisfied. Because, you know, the baby will let you know when he's ready to eat and when he's had enough, whether you're breastfeeding or whether you're giving formula. And you can't push your baby to drink too much. The signs, of course, is the baby will wake up, will be more agitated, Please don't wait till your baby starts crying to feed the baby, because that might not go that well. So make sure that you actually give the baby food whenever he wakes up and he starts to show sign, and he'll turn his head, open his eyes really wide. So those are all signs that he's ready to drink. Change your baby before, make sure he's comfortable, and feed your baby. Also, I want to talk about the visits that you're going to have after you go home. The nurse, the CLSC, the nurse from the CLSC will call you and make an appointment with you 48 hours after you come home with your baby, sometimes even sooner. That is really important. When the nurse goes home, she checks on the mother as well, and the baby will be weighed and measured, and a lot of information will be given. And it's a really good time if you have any questions or if you're worried about your baby. So there'll be 2 visits. That's the first one. The second one will take place about a week afterwards. And again, the nurse will go to weigh your baby and, make sure everything's fine. In between, don't hesitate. You can call the nurse at the CLSC and call your doctor. So that's it for this capsule. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.